want to follow up the previous video, still thinking about this Numbers 1, 2, and 3 section, speaking of the dangers or the threat to the spiritual life. And what I was just thinking about was, here's the list of all the able-bodied soldiers. Chapter 1, every tribe has so many men who are able to go to war. But then, as I said in the last video, you have at the end of Numbers 1, verses 47 to 54, you've got the Levites who are exempt from going to war. They don't have to go to war because they're assigned to guard the tabernacle. And what I was thinking about was the fact that their job was just as important, if not more important, than the soldiers. The soldiers are going to fight against the enemy nations that are going to keep the Israelites from enjoying the promised land, from enjoying the blessing of God. The Levites are assigned to guard the tabernacle so that the presence of God can remain in their midst. And think about it. You got all these able-bodied men going to war, but they win or lose depending upon whether or not God is present with them and fighting for them. So it really doesn't matter how many able-bodied men they have. If they are soldiers, if they're Israelite soldiers without the presence of God, they're going to lose. So what's happening here in this story early on in Numbers is you have warriors, yes, but you also have the Levites making sure that God's presence can stay in the center of the community. Now, God's holiness makes it so that He is their greatest threat. That's why the Levites, as it said, and let me just read quickly, chapter 3, verse 38. The Levites were guarding the sanctuary itself to protect the people of Israel. So He actually is He's their closest threat. Let's put it that way. Geographically, He's their closest threat because He's right in the center of the camp. So the Levites are functioning as if to say, look, we're going to make sure that God stays in our midst. We will make sure that you have access to Him, authorized access so that you're not killed because of His holiness. We will make sure that the tabernacle functions well so that when you go out to war, you have God fighting for you. And it's one of the greatest things, of course, about the Christian faith is to realize that not the Levites, but our Lord Jesus Christ, of course, makes it possible for us. His death on the cross satisfies the holy demands of God. He dies for our sin. His righteousness, His perfection credited to our account. We have the opportunity now to be in the presence of God, so God fights for us continually. And the threat that they faced, we don't face it. And that's really the reason why we continually experience His goodness, His presence, His blessing, His guidance, His provision, His protection, because Jesus has secured the sanctuary in a sense for us. And that's the basis for victory. We do fight. Like those, we do fight the spiritual life, the Christian life. We do fight it. But we win because of what Jesus has done for us.